I was really fighting for forgiveness in the face of fury. And we ended up with Grace Canceled, which I really like. And I discuss in it, it's not just that we've lost grace in any kind of cultural or political discussion, it's that we deny redemption. We refuse forgiveness, and apologies are just a sign of surrender. It's not really anything meaningful. People usually, in politics, you see when someone apologizes, it's to satiate the rage mob, and the rage mob only demands it because they want to flex and show their influence. And so if nobody wants to really apologize and nobody wants to actually offer a pathway to forgiveness, then what's the point of it? And that's what the book touches on in more ways than one, culturally and spiritually as well, because it's a faith-based book.
You were the spokesperson for the NRA for a period of time, and right after the Parkland shooting, it was one of the most despicable things I've ever seen, and that is that you were on a stage. It was supposed to be a forum to actually talk about solutions and ideas, and it was a vicious personal attack on you, requiring you to have security just to get out of the building without being physically assaulted.
Yeah.
That must have been terrifying.
It wasn't, actually. And I discussed that in the book too. So the town hall was held barely a week after the massacre, and that was on a Wednesday. I found out that I was going there on Tuesday. I found out when I got on the flight Wednesday that I was going to be on stage, and I found out when I arrived that I would not only be on stage, but I would be speaking, and I was going to be on with the former sheriff, Scott Israel.
Yeah.
And I'm taking this all in stride. The entire flight down there, it was the longest singular prayer that I've ever prayed. Because, I mean, let's not make any mistake. We all know who I am, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm the person who's been in Wisconsin rallies with Scott Walker, and I've jumped off the stage to go and confront people who were yelling names at some of the other speakers. So, and now I have children. One of them is an 18-year-old in college. Well, I'll come back to that. I'll bring that tugboat to shore, because that's pretty, you have to change when your kids actually get on the internet too. So it's like, no, we're not afraid of anyone else on the internet. It's mom we've got to worry about. So,
that's pretty bad when your own kid thinks that, huh?
But on the flight down, because I know what I know and I know what I don't. And I know what my strengths are, and I know what they're not. For me, grace is a choice that I have to make every single day, because it is not my first reaction. My family is from Southern Missouri. We're from the Ozarks. We will whip off a flip-flop, and we will come at you. That's like how we respond to stuff.
That's why Trey Corley is like he is. He's also from Southern Missouri.
He knows that. Yeah, you know that. That's the life.
We don't mess with him.
But I spent the entire flight down in prayer, and I knew, I'm like, okay, you're sending the worst person down here to do this. I mean, really, this is like sending Colonel Sanders somewhere and they're trying to stop frying chicken. This is not the person to send. So but I was in genuine, earnest prayer. And when we arrived and I got off the plane and we got to the venue, I've never felt calmer in my life.
Really?
I have never felt more collected, more focused, more calm, and it's a good thing, because you saw it. I mean, and there was a lot of stuff that wasn't seen. They had a political rally before the town hall program even started, and they were yelling all kinds of stuff. And I looked at my husband and I said, I'm gonna tell you something. This is gonna be difficult for you to hear. No matter what happens, you cannot react. You cannot react. If somebody throws a punch, if somebody spits, if somebody, doesn't matter. You cannot react. You got to hold the line. And I'm like, I know it's going to be hard. So I was praying for him too. And I went to check the sheriff's temperature, so to speak, because I thought it was weird that they were putting me on with him. Yeah. And I told him that we had been praying for him. We're just trying to cover the community in prayer. And he said, oh, you're the NRA lady. And he said, yeah, well, no hard feelings, which I thought was really odd for someone to say. And that's when I told my husband, I said, this is going to be a brawl. So they had us walk in, and this is not an exaggeration, to Black Eyed Peas, Let's Get It Started, like I was Deontay Wilder. And we get in there, and it was already crazy. We get on the stage, but I had just a peace that I have never had before. And that is the only way that I was able to do that. And there was nothing that was going to be accomplished with me returning slight for slight. And I wasn't there to debate. I was there to hold the line. And it's not just about advocating for the Second Amendment as well. I mean, it's one thing to say that you are a person of faith, but it's another thing to walk as a disciple. And I just did the best I could.
Well, I thought your whole presence and demeanor was truly remarkable, and it was hard for me to understand how you could sit there and have those kind of really hateful things said and spewed toward you, but you remain calm. And I think it's kind of a great reminder that we do need to have grace in our lives. But there's a seemingly lack of sense of humor among a lot of people in the political realm. I take this stuff seriously, but I don't take myself that seriously. I just don't. But I find people, whatever I may say, whether it's in a speech or a tweet or whatever, people get angry.
Yeah.
They're ready to just go nuts. I don't understand that. I really don't.
I read a study that was in this book that came out in 2017, and it was actually looking at the way that people respond to content online. And when people are outraged, it triggers a chemical release in the brain, and it's somewhat addictive. And people legitimately, I think, are addicted to outrage. There is a certain empowerment that comes from an individual being angry and having to put the fire of that anger out, that takes the attention and it takes the focus. And it's a fast-track way of false empowerment. And everyone is so, I think, focused on demonstrating what they like and don't like and what they can be outraged about, that we have, it's not all of us, but some of us, I think, have forgotten how to find that common ground and how to just not get uptight over every single thing. And let's maybe extend a little grace to someone who is trying to figure out the complexities of a discussion. And have you noticed that as well, that we can't even have a multifaceted discussion anymore because people are too afraid that they're going to be cherry-picked to death?
No, I absolutely see it. And you talk about that in the book. The outrage has become this sense of people like it. Yeah. They want it. And I don't get that. I really don't. And it's hard for me to relate to somebody who loves being angry.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up anger. And then what happens if something truly outrageous takes place? You've burned through all your reserves. How are you going to react to that? And I discuss in the book, outrage is, there is justifiable anger. Yeah. There absolutely is. And there's justifiable outrage, but outrage should be spent wisely. This is not something that you sustain for long periods of time.
But how do we fix that, though, Dana? How is it that we can sort of help people to realize that we don't have to shout at each other, we don't have to be angry, we can have strong opinions, and we can express them, we can debate them with vigor, but it shouldn't bring us to knocking somebody's hat off their head or wanting to throw punches at them.
Or burn college campuses down or any of that. I think the first thing, and this is kind of my daily mantra, I say this every single day to myself, and I'm like, God, remind me, I do not have to attend to every fight to which I am invited. Now, I like them.
I like that. That's good.
I don't have to attend every one. Maybe I can send a regretfully, I can't be there. But just, you don't have to attend every fight to which you're invited. Because I think some people really just they purpose, and you know this because you've dealt with this all your life. They want a reaction from you so that it can create yet another set of headlines that they can sell ads on. They're going to sell ads on your outrage. Yeah. They're going to sell ads on everybody's outrage. It's clickbait. And the other thing, you have to be a happy warrior. It can be so easily, you can just get so easily consumed by all of this. You have to look for the silly stuff, and you have to realize, and I think we do this pretty well, but some diverse thoughts are great. I don't even agree with my husband 100% of the time.
You don't?
No. For instance, he loads the dishwasher wrong. And I load it correctly. And when you put a toilet paper roll on the holder, it faces out this way. I even went up and found the patent for it. It faces out like this. So that's how it goes on. But some people are just going to think differently about some things, and that's okay. As long as we agree on the big issues, life and the ability to defend yourself and liberty, that's fine. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna get all bent out of shape on other things that's what I leave for God to fix. And I think too, people need to realize, and some on our side, now we have to, every now and then, we got to have a little come to Jesus moment with this, Some on our side think grace is sanction. They think it's compromise. And it isn't. I mean, you can have grace and justice. They can coexist together. Grace is, it's unmerited kindness. I will be kind to people who hate me, and the more they don't deserve it, the kinder I am, because that helps me. And also, you know, you were asking me about the town hall, and I mentioned my son. My 18-year-old is now a freshman in college. And he wants to go into constitutional law because I guess he likes punishment. I don't know.
It must be.
And he watched Parkland, and my younger son watched that town hall, and it affected my older son. And I didn't want him to think that there was so much hate out there that it led my reaction. And I told him, I said, look, you're never going to control the way other people react. The power is in how you react. That is where the power is. And I wanted to show that you can snuff out the outrage and the hate with kindness. And when I'm telling people that you need to maybe slow your roll, and as I say, I'm like, the hairs on your all's arms should be standing up. Your spiritual antenna should be up. Like Tina Loesch is telling us, whoa, we got to slow down. It's a great message. And I love that you said that grace is not giving up. It's not surrender. It's not acquiescence. And a lot of people think that. It's a great book. You'll find Dana's book, Grace Canceled, everywhere books are sold. You can also go to danaloesch.com for her books, radio shows, columns, and a lot more.